Good morrow. My name is Ben Franklin. I would like to tell you a little bit about the post office in my day. You see, in the 1700s, the way the post office worked, it was from England. It was the Royal Post Office, and it was a little bit different. The mail would arrive in a town, and it would either go to the tavern or the inn or a person's place of business, and they would be the postmaster and be in charge of getting that mail to the people, but they didn't deliver it. They simply said the mail is here at the inn or at the tavern or at the place of business, and people would gather, and at that point you would pay the postage for your mail. We had a bit of a problem in Philadelphia. The postmaster in Philadelphia happened to be a printer, and he decided that as postmaster, the newspaper could travel through the mail for free. The only problem is he made a newspaper himself, and only his newspaper could travel through the mail for free. In fact, I had a newspaper at the same time, and mine could not even go through the mail at all. It was blocked. The other problem was this particular postmaster, he preferred to, shall we say, set prices for his friends much lower than everyone else's, so that other people were paying more to cover the extra that he was giving to his friends. We were able to speak up and spend some time, and eventually we were able to remove this postmaster from his position, and they made me postmaster. Now, naturally, I do have a revenge streak within me, and so you would think that I would ban his newspaper from the postal system and just allow mine. But instead, I wanted the postal system to be better. And so I allowed all of the newspapers to travel through the post for free. Mine, his, and others. And also, I wanted a uniform way of setting the fees for that post. Let's think about this. If we knew how many miles the letter had traveled and the weight of the letter, could we not come up with a mathematical way of choosing that postage? And that's when I invented the odometer, a little device we attached to the wagons so that as the mail moved, we could tell by the count from that odometer how many miles it had traveled. Therefore, all of our fees were uniform, and it wasn't long until the British asked me to do this in all 13 colonies, and I became the Postmaster General for the 13 colonies. However, the post office was still somewhat of a political thing, for you see, the King of England knew that I sympathized with the coming revolution, and therefore he removed me from my position. I had even made the situation with the post office the best it could have been. We were faster than any time before, and all the prices were uniform, and we had removed the ability to receive your mail on credit, because the previous postmaster would do that and, of course, didn't expect his friends to even pay. Well, I was removed for political purposes because the King of England knew the value of communication across the 13 colonies. But do not worry, for you see, about this time, we had just had the Battle of Lexington and Concord, and the Second Continental Congress was meeting so that we could develop a new government for this time, the Articles of Confederation, as well as we needed a military. And so we established the Continental Army with General George Washington at its head. And we established the post office, the postal system with me as its head. Let's look at this. In May of 1775, we started working on this government in the Second Continental Congress. In June of 1775, we established the military, the Army, with George Washington. And then in July of 1775, we established the post office for the United States of America. Although, I must explain, we weren't called the United States of America quite yet, for this was July 1775. We would not write our Declaration of Independence until July of 1776. You see how important the post office was to the beginning of our country. And although I have to admit, it wasn't long until I passed on, I knew that I could sleep comfortably, resting in peace, knowing that my President George Washington, loved the post office, and he put through legislation in 1792 that guaranteed that the post office would be a part of our government, run properly for many, many years. And so I rested in peace for a long time. But recently, unfortunately, I've been turning over in my grave. For you see, where my president supported the post office, now there is a president who does not. And just as in what the King of England did to me, taking me out of the post office and putting someone in that was more sympathetic to England, we now have a postmaster who we wonder where his priorities are. Are they to improve the post office, or to improve his own business? Or we just don't know. Now I'm in the ground, rolling over and over, but maybe you can do something. You can write to the people who control the government. You can, of course, buy stamps. You can support our wonderful post office. And you can explore the motivations of your Postmaster General. Please, do your part to protect the post office so that I may truly rest in peace.